Hi, church. Well, good morning to you. I'm holding in front of me a brochure which I discovered just in an office cleanup. I mean, I guess that's what we're doing at the moment. What else is there to do but just to stay home and make sure that you're cleaning things up? And this happens to be the New Covenant Fellowship Rhinestons. This was the document. This was like the program. So the auditorium that you and I enjoy Sunday after Sunday, it was the opening of that auditorium in 1986. And this was the program that was written at that moment. And so I came across it and I thought, gee, this is great. There's a scripture here, Numbers 10:29, that's on the cover. And it says, come with us and we will do you good. Come with us and we'll do you good. And then, of course, it opens up and it gives an introduction. I mean, we even had the mayor come. There was even a mayor who came to address the church at its opening. And so relative to churches in Joburg back at the day, 1979 through to 1986, clearly we had profile in the city. And our heart is that the reason for that profile is that we'd continue to be able to be a blessing to the city. How often isn't it where I've described the church or a local church as being a lung in the city? It breathes in the toxic and then breathes out the life of God. And so we're vital. We're a vital organ, just as much as my lungs are a vital organ in my body. The lungs of God's, strategy of having local churches, local congregations. They just breathe in the toxic and breathe out the life of God. And at this point in time, truly we can be a lighthouse. And so it goes on, and it gives a little brief history, and it describes things that we're called to. It says we've got to take seriously the call to feed the poor, to clothe them, the naked, and give shelter to the homeless. Our teams are involved in townships, Hillbrow, and other areas of need. You know, folks, this goes back to 30-odd years ago. And you know what? We're not going to lay down what was DNA in the life of the church back at the day. We're going to continue, and we have continued to pick up. And so I go back to Love Our City, the initiative that Brett brought into the life of the church. I was there when Jack Swire was loading up all of the gifts that we had, the food parcels that we had brought, you had brought as a congregation. And it was such a blessing to him. I mean, he was quite emotional. He just said, wow, Ash, this is incredible. And I think in conversation with Brett, I said, yeah, we feel like we've got to give more. So I do remember, you need to know this. We want to be generous as a church. So we ordered 10,000 rands more food from Pick and Pay just to make sure that we can continue to be a blessing. This is what we were all those years back. So I read this and I thought, this is like wells that were put in place. All of those. And there's some people that are still in the life of the church now who will remember this document. They'll remember this day. And there were wells that were put in place. They were people who prayed. They gave sacrificially. They were generous. Generosity has always been a mark of the congregation. They had a heart for Johannesburg. They had a heart for the down and out. And so here we see this. And I took heart. I just thought, gee, isn't that wonderful that here we are still able to gather food parcels together. Still, in a time such as this, we need to be generous, So I wanted to read just a passage of scripture here where it says, forget the former things. This is the Isaiah 43 text. And there's 3 verses out of Isaiah. Verse 18, 19, and 21. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. I think God's encouraging us to do that. Forget the former things. Do not dwell in the past. See, I'm doing a new thing. Clearly he is. Now it springs up. Now it springs up. There's an urgency attached to that. Do you perceive it? I'm making a way in the desert and streams in the wasteland to give drink to my people, my chosen, the people I formed for myself, that they may proclaim my praise. Streams in the wasteland. I'll make a way in the desert. Maybe you're feeling like that. I just go back to this and I said, that was a well that we dug as a congregation way back then. And those of you who were around, man, bless you, because you put in place something that today still is treasure to us. And there are many other texts, and perhaps over this week, I'm going to share these texts with you just to show you that God was with us in the beginning. But it's not how you start. It's how you finish. We got to finish strong. We don't know when Jesus is coming back again. So we're going to stick to our 100-year vision. But at the same time, what do we do today? Let's prepare our hearts. So perhaps I'm going to get Brett in and we can talk a little more about Love Our City and maybe do another run. Collection point at the church could be for some more food parcels. So watch the space. We're going to help you just to keep your heart of generosity open. Bless you today. It's wonderful to be with you. Tomorrow I'm looking forward to our time. I'm going to start sharing just out of the book of Psalms. I found some fascinating things which I hope you're also going to enjoy as well. So God bless you. We love you. We're praying for you. And yes, this too shall pass.